25 years of joy, celebrating 25 years of media excellence. This is 99.7. This one is Joy. And this is the Joy Fest Take. Friday nights, the way we like to ease you into the night of music from DJ Black. We like to do some sporting talk, keep it light-hearted. And thank you very much for staying with us throughout the day from the 6 a.m. news bulletin, or even from the preaching before then. It was pretty hot this morning if you tuned in. The Joy SMS also with Koji Angson, Daniel Dazi and the team. It was great to have them on, and the Queen of the Airwaves was on with the Cosmopolitan Mix. Thanks for staying with us on the midday news, and then we segued into Drive Time on Joy with Lexus Bill, and of course we had Top Story. And just gone by was Ghana Connect with Evans Mensah. Now time for the sport. Quality programming, edifying content. This is Joy. And so today we'll be speaking about some very interesting issues that have been making the headlines in the Ghana Premier League and also Ghanaian football. I mean, such as it is, everything has been swarmed by the coverage of the COVID-19 pandemic. It's been pretty interesting to look at the various ways in which it's been affecting our lives. One thing I learned today was that on one of the networks, I'm not going to mention which, somebody sarcastically pointed out to the host of the show, a phone caller said, "Why are you saying global pandemic? A pandemic is global in nature, so it's tautological." And I had a right old good chuckle about that. So tell me, is it global pandemic or pandemic? It was a source of debate among some of the guys in the newsroom. Because in one of the WHO press releases, they kept saying global pandemic, but according to some of the English scholars we've got in Ghana and Kokomlemle, it is not like that. It should be pandemic. So let's know what it is. What's the correct thing? Do you know better than the WHO? Maybe we do. 0244340437. Let's keep it light, but on the heavier issues, bringing in the heavyweight champion of the world, that's Muftau Nabila. Hi, Muftau.
Did you just hear that? For a moment, did you know who was usually
heavyweight
champion of the world? Yes. Which of the weight divisions?
That one we need to ask. We need to ask
WBC.
Yeah. And also introducing the flyweight champion of the world, George. And introducing the paperweight champion of the world, your host for today, undefeated paperweight champion,
the only man there,
the only man who can be blown away with a puff of air. Gary Al Smith, I'm your host for today.
Gary, okay, pandemic.
Yes.
A disease prevalent over a whole country or the world.
So global pandemic is wrong.
It says over a whole country
or the world. So you can't say global pandemic.
I think
a pandemic is global in nature.
I think I would need to speak to my lecturer.
So you want to say like what? A national country.
Well, wait.
I am saying I think I need to speak to my lecturer.
Oh.
My English lecturer to be precise.
No, but you see,
Madam Ivy Mensah, so she actually could.
But your English lecturer has made dictionary available for you. That's the legacy she left for you.
Because actually, when you say something is epidemic,
it means that it's not global.
It's a community.
Yeah, sure.
When you say it's a pandemic, you refer to the whole country or the whole world.
Yep.
So when you hear people say global pandemic,
I think at this juncture we need to write.
It's repetitive. It's tautology.
Yes.
So actually say it's a global pandemic.
So now that we have sorted it on Joy FM, we need to fire an email to the WHO.
Yes.
The
WHO boss is actually a recipient of the English language. So we cannot but
this goes down to the communications division of the WHO. I'm talking about the press releases.
Yeah,
some of the press releases they put out.
Gary,
yes,
standard English is actually very difficult. if you're a recipient,
meanwhile we are getting comments from
No, yeah,
from our discerning
but
listeners.
let me do this. But Gary, let me do it because I'm just thinking. I'm trying to see if I can make a case for those who feel that it's right to say global pandemic. Now, look, it says that prevalent over a whole country or the world.
the world.
So if you're thinking in country circles, then you may want to use global pandemic.
Okay, so
But if you're
Charles
thinking
from Pram.
in world circles, you can
Let's
use
leave
global
this to our
pandemic.
discerning listeners.
Okay, let's see how.
For the next 44 minutes, let's allow them
Okay.
to. So Charles from Pram says, if you can say national pandemic,
Yeah.
you can say global
Yeah,
pandemic.
because the or is there.
It says country or
Yes, it's
world.
a whole country or world.
No.
I honestly
know.
don't remember the last
Relax.
time I heard national pandemic.
Yeah, but it doesn't
Gary,
mean it's not there.
Gary,
Yeah.
the point is, when you say it's a pandemic, what you are actually
Connotatively,
sending, you are saying that it is all over the place,
All over the world, anyway. Yeah.
all over the country,
I mean, when
all over the world.
when
But the definition
So
coronavirus,
when you say that, no, you see,
It's just country or world. That's the
country
definition.
or world,
Yeah.
and they are saying that when it is all over, when it is a national issue,
Yes.
so you cannot. I trying to tell me that you can say this is a national pandemic.
Yeah, you can say that.
When you say a national pandemic,
Yeah,
then
It's a country. You see. I'm just. It looks like it's going to be based
it's
on.
an or.
It's an or. So who is thinking? Who is thinking?
Anyway.
Who is you see that's
Charles from Pram comes in again and says on our WhatsApp line that the issue is the or
in the definition. That's the issue.
Anyway,
Yeah.
anyway,
Anyway.
that's just by the side. Now the issues in the Ghana Premier
we are
League,
not speaking English tonight.
the issues in the Ghana Premier League are by no means of pandemic proportions.
Yeah.
If anything at all, they are just community level epidemic
Yeah.
proportions. Now,
Okay.
the issue of unqualified players is something we thought we were not going to hear again ever in our lives. Because, I mean, unqualified players is such a scourge on the game.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, in this day and age, 2020, where you can even have a Microsoft Excel sheet or a spreadsheet software on your phone and update it regularly and put out notifications to all clubs to duly inform them of which players have got yellow cards or stuff like that. We understood this week that Great Olympics had got the better of Mediama SC. Apparently, they went to the GFA to complain that Mediama had fielded a player who had got more than a certain number of yellow cards, and instead of allowing the player to sit out a game in the Ghana Premier League, they had allowed the player to feature. And Olympics, who have the honor of being the world's most dangerous litigant, that's trademark registered copyrighted. Trademark registered copyrighted. If you know the history of Accra Great Olympics in the last 15 years, no club in this country, in fact, no club in the world can litigate more than Accra Great Olympics. And it is an honor for them.
They even plan on filing another one, and if they do file,
No, we'll get into those details right now. I'm just introducing the topic now for the benefit of listeners. So what it means is that Mediama are going to lose 3 points and 3 goals, and Mediama have decided that they are going to chase this matter to its quote-unquote logical conclusion. They call the GFA ruling bogus in a very, strongly worded statement they put out. They said they are going to follow it to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. So today, Muftar will take us through how that happened, why it should be happening, and what we think here on the Joy Sports First Take, on the Joy First Take, how we think that this thing should not be happening again in our league. So that's the first matter we'll be looking at, and then subsequently it will be any other business we deem fit to be talking about. Nathaniel has joined us. Nathaniel, hi.
Yeah. Hi. Good to be here.
What's up, man?
Charlie, we did, man. Tough times, but hey, we need to be strong.
Tough times don't last.
Yeah,
tough people do.
JFM
listeners are tough people.
Sure.
So beginning, George.
I would say that if you're playing have a game against Great Olympics, you must understand that you have two matches to play. The battles are two. The first one is
Olympics.
Yes,
Olympics.
Olobo Commodore and His Excellency Amaka Matefio. They're fantastic lawyers. They're fantastic guys.
Yeah.
So when you are playing against them, first you must check the books and make sure that you are okay there before you deal with them on the pitch. Because sometimes you are beaten only by 4 goals to 0, but you look at Olobo Commodore and he's smiling in the game. A lot is wrong for you, and you run to the boardroom. Now, I would allow Muftar to go into the details of
about how it happened.
I think I shall allow him to go into it now, and I'll tell you what my problems are with the boardroom points and all of that.
Nice one. So Muftar, first of all, we are getting more comments from our discerning listeners who are debating whether the use of the words global pandemic is correct in terms of English or is tautological. And so
this is probably the most succinct, I think.
Kwame from North Kalishi says global or national, the two words need to be used to confirm whether a pandemic is national or global. That's his take. And per dictionary definition, that is just about right.
Just about right.
Okay, so you can say national pandemic or global. Pandemic. So another entry here is from, let's see who sent it in. Gideon from Lashibi says, if the word pandemic is used to describe a national or global situation, then I don't think WHO was wrong in qualifying the pandemic as a global one. Okay, so that's another entry there. We'd like to get
it's clear. I think we've learned something. It's clear.
I think somebody has just sent a screenshot of a dictionary definition. So this is a collegiate definition, occurring over a wide geographical area and affecting an exceptionally high proportion, which can mean a country.
That's right. So
which can mean a country.
So that when you say pandemic, you need to define the pandemic, whether it's national in nature
and like I mentioned, an epidemic is for a specific community.
No, but still pandemic's definition is giving us that room.
Country or global. Okay, so you can say that Gary Al Smith has so much money it has become a national pandemic.
or like that. Or not has so much money it has become a global pandemic.
A global pandemic.
To that. And on that note,
move down.
And you know something as just as an aside. A bit of news that came in this week from all these coronavirus issues. It turns out that Angola are owing Chad. No, Chad are owing Angola. And Chad at the moment, Chadian brother, they don't have money. Like money no day. So they want to pay some of their debt with cows.
And you know how much?
How much?
$100 million.
$100 million.
And they're paying with
Angola are actually accepting some of the payment in cows because guess what? Angola have a deficit of meat and beef.
It's just simple.
So good old barter trade 2020 edition.
What was happening in the 18th century?
No.
That's a proper way of settling your debt.
So Chad have so many cows that it is a national pandemic of cows. So exactly. So
let's talk about an epidemic in Ghana football
that we don't want.
That we don't often want to hear. Mediama SC, they were at the wrong side of the law of the Ghana Football Association, the new law to be precise, for fielding an unqualified player in the person of Nana Babel.
Let me ask you to go back. What do you mean by new law?
The new law is that the new statutes crafted by the Normalization Committee. The new law also is that the current Executive Council of the Ghana Football Association also drafted specific regulations for their competitions. That's the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Women's League, the Division 1 League. All these competitions have got their independent regulations governing them.
That's clear.
But initially what we used to have was the general regulations of the Ghana Football Association.
That governed all these competitions.
That governed all these competitions. So in the general regulations, to be specific, was it in Article 21 or so, unqualified player, or just a moment, let me get that right. Per the regulations of the Ghana Football Association.
I should mention at this point that Muftau is crafting a career as a litigant. Muftau is one of those guys.
He will join His Excellency Amaka Amatofia.
Muftau, like what we are having, look, it's just a show. Like slow down.
So slow down.
Just say that it's an article of the GFA. Our listeners, like, look, it's a Friday night. Ghana is hot.
34.
We are not now coming to quote Article 21.
It is actually Article 29 of the Ghana Football Association, which says that a player who has received a caution in 3 separate official matches of the GFA and has not missed the next official match, that is a league match, the FA Cup, and the Elite Cup competitions. So what it means was that in the general regulations of the Ghana Football Association, if you were booked in the FA Cup, the Premier League, the Elite Cup competition, all these competitions were deemed as official matches of the Ghana Football Association. So you could play 3 matches, get booked in the league matches. what it means was that you were unqualified to play the next game, be it in the Elite Cup or the FA Cup. But now, what the new Executive Council of the Ghana Football Association has done is that they've decided to set up specific regulations to govern their competitions.
Okay.
And somewhere 2017, the former administration of the Ghana Football Association, they brought in a system used by CAF and FIFA called the Competition Management System,
the CMS.
The CMS. This system was responsible for flagging players who are unqualified for next matches.
Okay.
But because the new Executive Council of the Ghana Football Association have set up specific regulations for specific competitions, if you are unqualified to play a Premier League match, it will flag you for that.
I get it.
It will not flag you for an FA Cup match because the regulations governing the FA Cup are different from that of the Premier League.
Yeah.
So Midiama, unbeknownst to them, how they don't know is questionable. Because according to the Ghana Football Association, they sent emails out to all these clubs notifying them of the regulations they've come out for their specific competitions. But Midiama actually said it was an oversight, so they didn't know that. So they fielded Babel in the match 12 week 12 game against Great Olympics, and what it means was that Olympics, who had a member of the people who drafted the Ghana Premier League regulations, because there were 3 of them. The Executive Council set up a 3-member committee. Randy Abe, Oluboy Commodore, and Jones Alasanabu. These were the people who drafted the competitions regulations for the Ghana Football Association. So Oluboy knew inside out of the regulations. So when Midiama failed to realize that in the regulations governing the Ghana Premier League, a player is unqualified to play just in the Premier League, and does not mean that if you miss the FA Cup, you are eligible to play the next match. Use it against them. Midiama.
Okay.
So the other aspect of it is that most people are saying that these regulations were put together, and that's actually the argument put out by Midiama.
Okay.
The regulations were put together by the Executive Council. But the new statutes of the Ghana Football Association say that the Executive Council can issue regulations for the Ghana Football Association and their competitions. But others are arguing that if you go to Article 23 of the same statutes, they say Congress is the highest legislative body of the Ghana Football Association.
Which means then that Midiama are saying that even though the Executive Council have put it forward, it can only be ratified and made official by the Congress.
By Congress.
And since it hasn't been done by Congress, the rule does not hold.
So the point is that the general regulations were accepted by Congress. It can only take Congress to repeal those regulations. So if you've come out with specific competition regulations, those specific competition regulations are supposed to replace the general regulations, because the general regulations were the rules governing competitions of the Ghana Football Association.
Yes.
But it is only Congress that has the power to repeal a regulation and adopt a new regulation.
Nice one.
Congress have not adopted these regulations.
That is Midiama's argument.
That's Midiama's argument.
Okay.
Congress have not adopted these specific regulations governing their competitions. So they say that what the Executive Council have done is arrogating powers to themselves that they do not have. Until Congress accepts the new regulations and repeal the general regulations, those regulations the GFA Executive Council have put in place cannot hold.
So the issue is made even more contentious and even more, or it's brought into more starker relief by the fact that Midiama, as at the time this thing came, were which position in the table?
They were first.
They were top of the table.
Yeah.
With 30 points.
This is what makes them quite, angry, because this is the first time this season they would have gone top of the table. Now Olympics, they've had a difficult season, to put it mildly, and each point they get on the road or at home, or in this case in the boardroom, is also very dear. Comes in very handy. And the GFA per their rules were going to hand Olympics 3 points and 3 goals.
Yes, they've actually effected that. So
so it's been done on the table because the ruling has been done.
But let's just add that this was a seat protest Midiama Olympics 5.
I wanted you to give me that stat. So please give me the legislative and legalistic and litigation history of Olympics. What's that again?
In 2017, they filed 11 protests and lost all.
You are joking.
Yes.
Great Olympics.
They filed 11 and lost all. That was why they took the Ghana Football Association to court, dragging the comments of the Ghana Premier League.
Yes.
This season, 2018, they were not part of the league.
Yes.
And then we had a hiatus in Ghana football.
Yes.
Well, they brought them back. Simply because we don't want to have court issues surrounding the new administration of the Ghana Football Association. 12 matches played. Olympics have filed 6 protests.
Already?
Yes. They've won 1, lost 5. They will be filing another one against Wafa. Simply because the goalkeeper of Wafa wore defense socks to the match.
Excuse me?
Yes.
No,
hold on. Please. Olympics are going to do what?
They are filing a protest against Wafa.
That
because the Wafa goalkeeper wore different socks. The colors they brought for the match coordination meeting was different. So
Olympics Maba. Olympics Maba.
Because you see, pre-match
procedure the microphone.
Pre-match procedure has it that we sit together and we agree on certain key things. Jersey colors and strips are very, very important. So Olympics.
No, I don't have any problem with Olympics. I don't have any problem with Olympics. Now this is where I'm driving at. I mean, Muftar has gone through everything. Now the game is governed by rules, and every club must ensure they abide by the rules. It's as simple as that.
I know where George is going.
If you don't abide by the rules, if you don't abide by the rules, that is your problem. It's up to your opponents to
exploit it.
It's very simple. Olympics can go ahead with 12 cases in 11 matches, or 15 cases
or
in 34
cases in 34 matches.
So Gary, this is what I'm saying. Our clubs would have to build the right structures to make sure that they are picking up on these things. We've seen them happen even to the likes of Real Madrid. They got knocked out of the Copa del Rey when they had not played.
It's important to draw that context because you know the Ghanaian thing. When you put this out, they say, Africa, Ghana.
No.
Let's remember that Liverpool nearly suffered. Yes.
Even recently.
And it happened in the Europa League a lot. It happened in qualification matches, the Europa League and Champions League. So I'm saying that every club must be on its toes when it comes to making sure every detail is trashed out before the game. It's as important. If you have a situation where a player has 3 yellow cards and you are not sure, you are better off keeping that player out and going ahead with your game than going ahead with the game, getting the points, and another takes you up. I am not going to, and I'm not going to say this. I'm not going to say that Olympics is right or Midyama is wrong. This is a very complicated issue, but I am using this platform to tell our clubs that we have left too many holes for people to exploit. Our clubs need to employ the right men to do the job and ensure that the men are doing the job. You can't sleep on the job. You can't allow your goalkeeper to go in with a different color if you have agreed on a certain color.
But what about Nathaniel's point about pre-match?
Yes, pre-match. That's what I'm saying.
Technical meeting. What they agree on.
So they agree. And that's why Olympics will say, I'm taking you because I saw a different color. So we agree on the set of colors. We agree and we have the rules and regulations. And if you go against any of them and Oli says, I'm taking you to the boardroom, I'm taking you to the disciplinary committee, you absolutely can't do anything. I am not saying in this instance that Midyama have erred. Midyama can go ahead and push the case. But what I'm saying is, for all our clubs, we have to make sure that before every game, it's not only about the ways and means, it's not only about how to get the 3 points, but it's also making sure that you have covered everything.
All the bases.
Great point that George makes here. Great point that George makes here. I'm very concerned about wanting to align with the European calendar. Okay. Now, we have gone through seasons where, these court cases have dragged and we've not been able to start the season on time. We run a very big risk of going through such a rough patch if regular football resumes around the world. And you see, George makes a very important point about making sure that we just get it right. We're getting sick and tired of having people give us that description and that tag where, it's a Ghanaian thing, it's an African thing. when can we also set a standard by which the rest of the world can identify us?
Well, we have started well. We are already turning Europeans out of our country. Amen.
Amen.
In the history of Ghana, 53 years, we are actively sacking Europeans from our airport.
The situation has made it possible.
Please carry on, Nathaniel.
You know, so for me, it becomes very important that for once we start setting standards in our league and the right examples. Okay. Because you see, what would it profit a man to hustle and bustle and struggle, go through all
online church this Sunday? Oh my God! The Nathaniel Apple online. We shall join you online. This is the proper session.
Profit a man.
My God!
To go through all the rough patches, earn points, and lose them to Olidade.
Only protest.
And you see, let's also accept something about my very dear Great Olympics. Great Olympics are just that bittersweet experience that we need to make the league complete. It's as simple as that. We just need to accept them the way they are. Because look, we've always talked about how we want to get the points right there on the pitch. We want to score the goals and get the points legally. Whatever. I mean, we talk about how we don't want to get points in the boardroom and on the administrative tables and in the courtroom. But now it seems like this bug is coming back to bite us. So we need to get it right, and this should be a very big learning curve. Because you see, let's just say in the hypothetical sense that we resumed football next week. Everything went well and we're to resume next week. Then this thing stares us in the face. Now we're not too sure, how far Midiama will be ready to go with this case and all of that. So we need to set a standard. We need to set the Ghanaian standard in all aspects of our life, including our football.
So the question I want to ask is,
Gary, just before you answer that question, please. I think that it's rather the Ghana FA that we should go into, because they have created this lacuna where teams have got the opportunity of going to the boardroom to ask for points.
So what do you suggest?
You had a system that flags teams from using unqualified players. What happened to that system? Why create an institution where you have it is not wrong for you to have
separate content management systems for the FA Cup, for the Ghana Premier League,
but you should interlink them, integrate everything, so that when you are unqualified,
it will just send an automated email.
You are this place unqualified, you cannot play. They keep saying that every weekend they remind the clubs of players who are available and those who are ineligible. It is right that the clubs employ the right people to handle their administrative staff, but sometimes oversights do happen. And for clubs to have the opportunity of going to the boardroom to seek for points, it defeats the integrity of the game. If I run 90 minutes to win 2-0
and travel
all the way so many miles, I get back, someone sends a simple email to the Ghana Football Association and I lose those points. Trust me,
I'm not going to let it go.
I think that the FA must ensure that their systems are so robust that if you are unqualified for a game, you are unqualified. Let there be that integration that will stop clubs from having a team sheet of players unqualified. Because at CAF, I'm not sure that if a player is unqualified, you can download even the team sheet.
Okay. You see, I'm happy if the FA is able to develop a system for the clubs. But again, I don't think it's overly the responsibility of the Ghana Football Association to ensure that your club, ensure that your club is okay with the players. So, you see, I'm saying this because you play the games. How many games you have in a week? Maybe 2 games or 3 games. You should be, as a professional club,
that
having somebody in there to know that these players, because you're watching the game and you're I'm not saying that I'm saying data. I'm saying that have your own data. That's one. Number 2, I was saying before at the beginning of the week that this boardroom points thing, let's stop. But I've realized that because our clubs over the years have shown that they will continue to make these mistakes, I feel that they are more affected when the points are taken than the fine. Because when you bring the fine, yes. And that's why I stick.
They actually say 3 points is an investment.
That's why I stick with the points. That's why I stick with the bottom points. Until
yes, they feel
because I realize it. Misato, if you decide to do this thing, fine. I will just know I make a mistake and I'll get a loan to pay and they'll just keep on paying and they have a lot of benevolent guys who will just pay the money. So I think the good thing for now
is to dump their points
until the club show us that at least for some years they are moving away from this. We have to keep with the points, because when they take the points away from you and you see your position,
relating this to the typical boarding school system and the boarding school environment, this is like internal suspension where you are in school, you are not attending lectures or
everybody's going and coming,
but you are just there. You are working, and in St. Augustus, what we used to do is that you work under the maintenance officer for the whole period. It doesn't go into your record too, but you see, you are feeling the pinch on your skin. You see, so I think
that's what you're saying.
Yeah, because with this, look, media man, look, we don't need to be in their jersey to know that they are feeling this.
They are feeling this,
hard on their skin.
Yes. So, all right, so guys, a lot of listeners, I think, do not want to have this specter of unqualified players in the league in the first place. And I think that is the bottom line. Let us not say that, Olympics, whatever. The bottom line is that it really annoys me when I see that in this day and age, this club went to. And George, let me answer your question directly.
Yes.
Look, you are saying it's not the job of the GFA. You would rather the clubs
do it.
Did it themselves. Yes. But I'll tell you, sporting integrity is a tricky thing.
Yes. I agree.
The way clubs are human institutions. And human institutions are inherently hypocritical and selfish by nature.
Yes.
They would want to benefit from the system as much as possible.
Yeah.
So yes, there will be a club. They know that Kofi Mensah is ineligible, but they would want to test the system because Kofi Mensah is a good defender. So they'll use him. Some of the ineligible players who are featured especially in the women's game, women's AFCON qualifiers, Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea have been banned several times, but they keep on doing it.
Yes.
They'll get a player from Cameroon, change her name, her age, and then they'll put her as an Equatorial Guinean player. They've done it consistently.
From Portugal,
From Portugal, those funny, shenanigans. Capo Verde. They do that all day. And I'm saying that, you see, just like in many instances in Ghana, the regulator is the one who must.
Yes.
I'll take you to the example of this banks issue where we had the collapsing of banks. And a lot of people lay the blame at the doorstep of the BOG. Because what? They are the regulator. This men's gold Namonte. People say that put it at the doorstep of the regulator. You see, you can say that yes, it's all well and good. The clubs will have their own internal content management systems. But what if they sit at a board meeting? At a board meeting, a gathering of minds, and they decide that let's cheat the system.
Let's try it and see.
Let's test the system. Yes. So that is my point. That the GFA should.
And when you cheat and you're caught.
Yeah, so that's why.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So I agree that the FA must come in, but again, if the clubs make the mistakes, they should.
Let's do our shout out. We'd like to give a what do you call it? Our normal Friday shout to Olympics.
New Olympics.
Only coronavirus. Only COVID-19.
They infected Midiama with COVID-19.
And you know what?
You didn't hear the story. When we were playing the game, Olo boy went to the Midiama and said, "My friend, let us win this game because you have lost it already." Midiama didn't understand. You have lost this game already. They were laughing. It's okay.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, after the ruling, Majime 3 points.
Yeah.
Was on their
that's why they are called the Wonder Club. Yeah. You people do understand.
And for those.
No, but sometimes some people within the club, sometimes they actually feel bad that they file some protests.
Oh, that one day is part of life.
It happens. I know where you're going.
Charlie, very quick story.
I can't go there
because His Excellency Amaka Amatefi was invited to a carol service by one of these institutions, and I'm told that evening Olympics was playing, a late fixture in the evening.
Yeah.
So here was His Excellency Amaka Amate with all the grace and sitting in the middle at the top table enjoying this carol service. So the minute the thing was, updates were coming in, and then all of a sudden Olympics scored. Then in the thick of all of it, when there was a performance,
Carol.
Go! and it stood in the middle, and everybody was like,
hey, what's going on here?
Only Bobo, only must. Gosh. My friend, big shouts to Your Excellency.
Your Excellency.
It is in there. You can't do anything about it.
So a couple of comments. This one is from Ajiman Joseph, Community 9 in Tema. Good evening, guys, he says. Let's say good evening to him, guys.
Good
evening. Ajiman Joseph is a regular text. How you doing, my brother?
Very, very regular.
Great.
Says,
good to hear from you.
My simple question is, can we still call our league professional when clubs still take points from the boardroom? The answer is yes.
Yes.
George,
yes, very
I think you answered
very
that there are rules that govern the league.
That's it.
If somebody uses the league to...
You must accord the rules some respect.
So it's a professional. Again,
more points.
In England or wherever it is, if somebody falls foul of the law, they are going to use the... So for example, let's use a recent coronavirus example. The English Premier League or the English professional football system, they are wary of what to do in these times because they are afraid of legal suits. They want to end the because, as you know, the English football calendar says that it should end before June the 1st.
Yeah.
All domestic competitions must end before June the 1st. And it is the reason why most players, in fact, about 95% of players' contracts start on 1st July.
Yeah.
Okay, because the assumption is that by the 1st of June is done, we have gone through contract negotiations, and then 1st of July, pre-season is about to start, and then you move on, and so on and so forth. So what they are afraid of is that if the virus doesn't get lost by that time, and they are now avoid the season, some clubs can take them on.
And even players.
And players
Simon Stone, I was speaking to him on the locker room this afternoon, and he made a fantastic point there that there's a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of contracts. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
That's even the first thing before they can go.
So that's, Joseph, that is a classic example. You can call...
I stand with Liverpool in this matter.
It's a big matter.
You can't say that the English Premier League or the FA Cup or the other competitions are not professional because somebody is exploiting the rules. The rules are the rules as well.
Real Madrid only are going to have people who exploit. But guys,
I'm just saying that the 2018 World Cup qualifiers, Nigeria actually lost 3 points on the qualified players.
Guys, before we go on, we've entered any other business. We're going to run with it. So Emmanuel Ajiman-Bedu, who's served this nation a great deal,
that story, man,
lost his sister. His sister was murdered. His sister is called Hagar. And his sister was shot by a gentleman, the suspect, allegedly murdered by this gentleman called Kwabna Yeboah. His name is all over the place. And interestingly, Ajiman-Bedu has put a post out, and he is asking for support to find this guy. And his nickname is Kobe. I'm told this guy, his picture, he placed his picture there on his Facebook wall as well. But in all of this, in the midst of all of this, he finds the strength to also admonish people to stick to the safety rules, as we try to, and I feel that is a great show of strength. And so to Ajiman-Bedu, from all of us here at Joy Sports, we say our big condolences to him. I mean, this shouldn't happen to anybody. Nobody deserves anything. And Ghana is always grateful for what he did, back in 2009.
And his long service to the Black Stars,
the national team.
Yes.
At a certain point as well, he discovered his strength in long-range shots, but we didn't have enough time to explore.
He actually scored one that was picked for FIFA goal of the
against
Guinea. I remember.
And then also on Wednesday we heard of the sad demise of the legendary Roger Mayweather. Roger Mayweather has worked with his own nephew, who's now a legend of the sport, gone 50-0, scored major victories and dominated in a minimum of 5 weight classes, soon to be inducted in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. He was a successful boxer. He won 2 world titles in 2 different weight divisions, and most importantly, with the Ghanaian, in terms of Ghanaian relevance, he worked with one of our world champions, 3-time world champion Joseph Agbeko. I had a conversation with Joseph Agbeko, which will be aired tomorrow evening between 6 and 7. He spoke about how Roger Mayweather was the type who made tough work very easy. And you remember that in some of the chants that Floyd Mayweather Jr. uses to, inspire himself when he's training, he says, all work is what? Easy work. All work is what? Easy work. And I realized that it comes from his uncle. Unfortunately, boxing sometimes will take its toll on you. And we've seen it with the likes of Muhammad Ali, the likes of Oliver McCall. We saw a lot of it with with Roger Mayweather himself. And it also goes to tell us about the reality of these sports that we work around as journalists, the hazards of these sports that we work around. I remember very well that Bernard Hopkins, the executioner, has taken himself into that space where there's a lot of advocacy about living healthy, making sure that you're always safe and, you're always checking yourself and fighting, And that's the reason why we also always have to pay our respects to Floyd Mayweather Jr. I always say this, look, the man is an authority in defensive boxing. We don't have enough time. We'll do that
some other time. We have 8 minutes to go. So there's one particular text, Mustafa, the one about the guy is lecturing us about grammar. Yes, I think it's an important point.
I'm sure he.
No. It's important. No.
Yeah, okay.
Because we started the show on a grammatical note, asking whether national pandemic and global pandemic were tautological, and we've come to the conclusion that. So please read this one. I think it's educational for all of us.
He said,
what's his name again?
His name is
Old Boy.
Old Boy.
So please go up. I think there's a comment up there.
Up there. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Hi guys, how can you say Chad are Oye Angola? There's only one rep of Chad in the world.
So what he wants us to say is Chad is Oye Angola. What he says something else.
Okay. He said another grammatical error, which means Midiama are saying that the Olympics are going to what?
So what he's saying is that we shouldn't say Midiama are, Chad are, Olympics are. We should say Midiama is, Chad is, and Olympics
is a collective entity.
Yeah, so this is a classic. If it's one of the key lessons. I mean, the BBC style book and then the AP style manual. It's one of the things it talks about collective nouns and how you treat them. So for example, I remember, do you say Joy FM is 25 years or Joy are 25 years? It depends on the context in which you are speaking about them. Do you say Manchester United are the richest club in the world, or Manchester United is the richest club in the world, and so on? So depending on the context in which we are using them. So, for example, I remember George said Olympics is, because he was speaking about them as
an entity, one group.
And then Olympics are, a collection of individuals who have come together. So
are preparing for
they are preparing for the Europa League final.
So Olympics are preparing another case to go to. So your point is well taken, but in this case we're speaking of Olympics and Midiama and Chad as collective. What's up?
On a lighter note, Selwyn, how come I'm not on your TV? Charlie, I want to be popular.
So Selwyn is the guy who streams the broadcast. He streams the broadcast. So if you are watching us on facebook.com/Joy 99.7, I think Nathaniel is not in the thing, and Nat is taking umbrage at that. But Nat, Charlie. Anyway, so guys, any other business we want to talk about?
The brief one was on Kwesi Appiah asking the Ghana Football Association to pay him his $175,000.
Mustafa brought that story earlier this week. So the GFA, they owe Kwesi Appiah.
Yeah, they owe him. The game against Sao Tome, he was not given his winning bonuses. He was also owed from August to December. So he made his lawyer tell sorry to write to the Ghana Football Association to pay that money.
To demand the money.
Yeah, to demand the money. Actually, the Ghana Football Association had written to him earlier and indicated that he should bring the car and everything they gave to him to aid his work as coach of the Black Stars. So Kwesi Appiah reacted by asking them to pay the money. But we understand the Ghana Football Association has forwarded a letter to the Ministry of Youth and Sports, because it's the Ministry of Youth and Sports, they are responsible for paying the national team coaches. So the GFA decided to forward a letter to them. The agreement is that GMPC pay the coaches, but GMPC, they give the money to the sports ministry, and the sports ministry will in turn pay the coaches. So So what it means is that Kwesi Appiah rather should have gone to the Minister of Youth and Sports and demand for his money because they are responsible for paying him. But on the other side, he has a binding contract with the Ghana Football Association because it was actually the Ghana Football Association that engaged his services. So those who say that, I remember one interesting thing, an executive council member was telling me that Kwesi Appiah knows we don't pay him. Why he brought us the letter? I don't want to put the person's name out there. Why he brought us the letter is one thing they don't understand because they know very well that he was paid by the Minister of Youth and Sports, so he should go to the Minister of Youth and Sports. And that is actually the reason why some people like Stephen Appiah, Olele, and Ibrahim Tanko, they go to the ministry to ask for their money instead of going to the Ghana Football Association.
But the question we need to ask ourselves is this right?
What is that?
I mean, who directly works with? We need to structure this thing properly. I mean, at a certain point, you're dealing with the Ghana FA when it comes to discussing your contract and all of that. And then at the next minute, you're going above them to the ministry to
in the contract case of CK Akuno, the GFA actually sent them his contract to the ministry to review it.
I see.
You see, can we I'm just saying,
and you know, Nathaniel, you've been in this job longer than we have. This is an age-old problem, and if across Africa, it's always the same problem.
Okay, but I would like to stick with the Ghana situation. I think it's a mess, and we should just agree it's a mess.
Oh, it is.
But CK has not got his contract. It's a mess. That Coach Kwesi Appiah will not be paid for 6 months, and he's now talking about it after he's left office, when he has returned his car and handed over the keys of his apartment. I mean, it's a mess here. I mean, it's clearly a mess. I still believe, Gary, there is something fundamentally wrong with the way coaches are appointed when it comes to this Black Star thing. How many coaches in this world who will be given a professional job like this and will sit and not be paid for 6 months? You walk out of the job. You only issue an ultimatum when you're asked to bring your Land Cruiser and you hand over your apartment. You see, I understand Kwesi Appiah, he needs his money, but it's always the conditions surrounding how the coaches are appointed. That is where the problem is. And there's another one sitting in front of us. The coach has taken over, done his press conference, and there's no contract.
Attended, big events on behalf of the Ghana FA.
No, the GFA, why not just go for it? Secure a sponsor to pay your coaches.
Something must be done here.
It's not always that easy. Muftau, final batch of comments. This is from...
Well, this one is coming from Dawood in Helsinki, Finland. He said, hello guys, rules are rules. Without them, we are savages.
That sounds like a quote that I've heard before from one of these famous people. Okay. Anyway, let's go on.
And then this one too, is a screenshot.
Okay, we'll check it later.
Unfortunately, we'll check that one later. And then this one too is coming from, he's saying, what? Come on, guys. Platoon Commander Tema. He said, bravo, guys. You really relieved the nation of the phobia of global pandemic. Carry on, guys.
Thank you very much, Platoon Commander.
Thank you very much, Platoon. And this one is, what?
Dennis.
Dennis, he said, Manchester City and Chelsea are still in the UEFA Champions League because of coronavirus.
Oh, that's so true.
That's so true.
Not that by now. No, Manchester City, Chelsea.
Okay.
And the last one.
And then the last one, this one, it came from
Some Booms.
Pakpo Saki.
Okay.
He said, please, there's nothing like national pandemic. National is epidemic and global is pandemic.
And that is how we end the show. And as you say,
but you end the show, we have to, inform everybody. We have to talk about Thomas Partey. But we'll get maybe next week whether Thomas Partey should even listen to us now.
So let me just give context.
Is not fair.
Let me just give context to this Muftau before we dive into it. Thomas Partey has been one of the best players in his position this year.
Yes, fantastic.
Defensive midfielders, top 3 in the world, I think. Yes. And he's paid 47,000 euros.
Not good at all.
Which is criminal.
Checking.
I spoke to someone actually very close to Partey. He said he spoke to Partey yesterday. Atletico Madrid offering him an improved contract.
No. Don't be a lot.
Arsenal are seeming to be on top of those who want Thomas Partey. And George, that's what George is talking about.
And I know Gary will be very excited. Gary, you'll be happy that Partey will come.
George!
I would love, you see, I'm slightly confused in this one. I'll think about it again when I'm speaking to Thomas Partey. Because I'll say, Thomas, if he goes to Arsenal, you become as popular as Michael Essien was. You get a bigger profile. People will love you. The exposure at Arsenal is great. But would you win trophies at Arsenal? I'm not too sure. Maybe Atletico Madrid is still great. Until we can get a club that is sure of being in the Champions League and winning the Champions League. I'm very sad because I checked.
Or winning their domestic league.
Winning the domestic league. I checked. You know that Thomas Partey was on loan when Atletico won that La Liga.
Yeah.
So he
doesn't have a medal.
Yes. Yeah. So because of that, Thomas, we have Europa and all of that. I want us to win some domestic leagues. I want us to win the Champions League. I want you to be up there. I would have gone for Arsenal, but no.
George,
we will wait for
this season.
No.
Something is about to happen to Atletico.
Partey, we will wait for a big one.
Sorry, the other day I was telling you about the god of fairness in football. Sometimes, honestly, I mean, look, for how long will Diego be urging the fans on? Pushing these guys.
But we'll move to
maybe this season, when football resumes, something will happen. Let's wait.
You might be surprised that even a Burnley will sign him.
Oh no, don't want that. No, we don't want that, please. Thomas is our
top player.
Yes.
Any Premier League can afford him. £50 million release clause is easy for any Premier
League team. Yes.
So if they activate the release clause and Atletico Madrid says go,
but Burnley
won't go because of all the money. Because he must go
after that one. If the Burnley comes close, we
have they activated fire.
We don't want any of
And on that note, what?
Not online church.
Share.
Holy Ghost fire. We'll be there.
What shall it profit a man?
Oh my God.
Anyway, many thanks for listening to the Joy Fest Take today. And some booms says that it is not a national pandemic. You don't see a national pandemic, but that is what I learned in school, from my days in Engelbert School and Presec. I mean, I was told that national is for epidemic and then pandemic is for global. But we've learned from the dictionary today that you can actually say global pandemic and national pandemic. And we saw the WHO say that coronavirus is a global pandemic. So what can we say? Nathaniel Ato will be interviewing Harry Zakwa tomorrow on the Joy Sports Link. 12:15 is the time. Nathaniel will be doing that. Also, we've got a message that says that once FIFA has my name registered as Boss J, who played for Black Stars in the World Cup, can I play for Nigeria at the next World Cup? If the answer is no, then the rules are the rules. That is in relation to the Accra Great Olympics saga that we are talking about. It's been a pleasure coming your way on behalf of George Ado, Muftar Nabila, Nathaniel Ato, the rest of the production team. Thank you for your time. I'm Gary Al Smith. You take it easy.